Hello, this is Chloe. I'm going to teach you how to make the basic diagonal stripe. It's very easy if you follow these steps. What you'll need is string, tape or a clipboard, and scissors. Alright, pick 4 strings, tie it in a knot at the top, go like this, and separate all 4 strings. Okay. First, take your first strand, for me it's purple, and your second strand. If your second strand is yellow and your first strand is purple, only the second strand will show. So, if you watch any of my other videos, it shows you how to make the basic knot. So do the basic knot twice. You can do it either once or twice, but when you do it twice, it doesn't swirl, because when you only do it once, it swirls and it looks like really bad. Okay. I'm not going to be surprised if any of you mess up, but it's okay because I messed up a ton of times my first time too. Okay. Alright. Okay. I love making these bracelets, you know. They're like very nice. And your bracelet will look like this when you're done. Okay. Thank you for watching, and for other ways to make the other bracelets, look on my other videos. Thank you.